Hi, I'm Dave Monty and welcome to my video series, Everything Villages. A couple of weeks ago, I put out a new cost of living calculator and instantly got a lot of great feedback on improvements, added features and functions, and as well as wanted a little bit more flexibility in using it. So I made those changes and I'm going to step through those today in this video, so stay tuned. Before we get started, if you like this video, please hit like. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Both of those actions help these videos reach more people, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you like a free version of this calculator, you can email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com, and I'll send you out a calculator. Also, I have a free guide, Buying and Selling a Home in the Villages. That's like right there. If you would like a copy of that, you can also email me here, and I'll send that out to you. All right. So like I said in the introduction, I recently did put out a cost of living calculator, and I'm going to show you that one. All right. Now, the goal of this calculator is to be used as an educational tool for people to understand what their costs might be based on their housing choices. So down here, I added some free form cells where people could enter in other expenses so they can kind of keep track of overall expenses. Well, the request that I got was, why don't we expand this section and be more specific about monthly expenses? And I'll show you, and that's exactly what I did here. The other thing that I ran into was not just disagreements, but a lot of people saying, hey, I pay this and I pay that and I pay this. Well, I try to do as much research as I can and try to consolidate as much information and be as accurate as possible, but there's no way that I can account for everybody's individual circumstances. Take home insurance as an example. Based on the designer veranda series, the cost of the house, I estimate the home insurance to be $100 a month. Well, do you have flood insurance? Do you have sinkhole insurance? Or you have a low or high deductible? All of those things can affect that value. So I needed a way to be able to allow people to override that number without destroying the default calculations. And that took me a while to figure out, but I think I did it. So let's take a look at the new calculator. Here it is. And as you can see, this is the original section, and mainly this is the original section. What I did is I expanded out that bottom corner where it just says, I gave you 5 or 6 little areas to, or rows that you could fill in with your own numbers. So all I did was really just break out what people's expenses are in here. So I do have one for transportation, personal care that includes medical, getting your hair done, clothes, health club, food up here, whether you're groceries or dining out, entertainment options from movies to theme parks to books, pets. We recently got a dog, so I'm learning this one intimately. And then important to a lot of villagers are church and charity, so I allow you to put it in here. Now, if I missed anything, I still have plenty of other, even if I can't even think of something off the top of my head. But say it's non-entertainment related, you can still use this particular field for whatever you'd want to use it for. Any of the cells that are white, those you can change. Anything in gray should be locked down. So all of these values are either calculations or they're looked up values. And so I don't want to change those. So I figured out a way over here so people could put in their own numbers. And then if they wanted to not use that number and use the default, they could switch back to the default. And again, I'll show you how that works. For people, this is the first time they're seeing this, I am going to step through this calculator because, again, the goal of the cost of living calculator was to show you what your housing costs were going to be. And I'm going to step through a couple of these input values, especially over here. These are all just self-explanatory. You're just going to enter in a value. None of these are looked up. These are your numbers, so you can put anything you want in here. Okay, so the very first thing you need to do is, where do you live in the villages? I allow you to pick the county. 95% of all the homes in the villages are in Sumter County. Okay, but if you're going to pick Marion County, your taxes will go up. If you pick Lake County, your taxes will go up. And so really, when you're picking county, all you're really doing is affecting what you're paying in taxes. And you'll see it down here, like down over here. When I make that change, you'll see, you'll see the change in the ad valorem taxes, which are based on the value of your home. This other number down here is a fixed number, and we'll get to that as well. So I'm going to keep it at Sumter because 95% of the homes are in Sumter County. The next one is homestead exemption. Now, what a homestead exemption is if you're going to make your home in the villages your primary residence, then you can apply for this homestead exemption. What is it? What it does is it knocks about $50,000 off the assessed value of your home. And the effect is about a $500 savings in your taxes if you're in Sumter County, a little bit more savings if you're in Marion or Lake counties. And I'll show you. So if I put no, I'm not going to have the homestead exemption. You'll see this jump up by about $50, which equates to about $500 or $600 a month. Okay, so but I'm going to put homestead exemption yes. I'm trying to make these default values that I send out as close to the average here in the villages. So again, most people have the homestead, most people live in Sumter. The next one down is the bond, and most people don't have that paid off. So I got no, you do not, the bond is not paid. Okay, so we can pick on that. When you'll notice if the bond is paid, okay, you'll notice this number goes down. And what it does is it changes this number right there. Okay, so this is the bond, fire, CDD taxes. These are come on your tax bill, and they are fixed numbers. They're not based on the value of the home. Okay, so let's go back again. The bond is not paid, so you'll see that number go up here. I'm going to allow you to enter in a number, and again, I'm going to get to these over here in a minute. Next one is home value. Now, the home value is going to affect a few things. It's going to affect your taxes. Okay, and then also if you're going to get a loan, right? And again, I have this set up where you don't get a loan because everybody's homes are going to be completely different in price. Even if I get a designer series, I could have a designer that's on a pond and it's going to be $750,000, if not more. And I can take the same exact designer and move it across the street with the same bond, same taxes, code, everything. But it would only be worth $475,000 because it's back-to-back kissing lanai. You don't have a view. So I needed to build some flexibility into here, and which I think I've done a decent job of. One of the requests that I got was, can I use this for a rental? And so in here, most people own, but I do allow you to say, yes, I'm going to be renting. Now, renting for long-term renters, for someone who's going to live here, this isn't for short-term renters. You're coming in for a month. Okay, this is if you're going to move here and rent a house for long-term. And I try to give a good estimate when I believe rents are here in the villages. So I'll show you. So I'm going to rent, okay, and then here's my monthly rent on a designer and a veranda. If I go down to a patio villa, that goes to $1,900. So these two and those two will affect the monthly rent here. But again, I'm going to go back to own, and I'm going to go back to designer because there's more designers here. Is there going to be a loan? And again, if I go yes, then you'll see a loan value pop up there, and you'll see that number increase as well. So these are only, you'll notice because I haven't put any values in here that, that number equals that, but really this is only adding up this section right here. And hopefully that makes sense. All right, so let's go back to no on the home loan, just because I'm trying to give you a sense of what your monthly cost will be. Now, if I am getting a loan, then I'm going to enter in my down payment. So let's go back to there. So right now my down payment is greater than 20%. So you see there's no private mortgage insurance. But say I went down and only put $50,000 down, then you'll see private mortgage insurance pop up right there. Okay, so again, we're going to say, no, I am not getting a loan. And then again, it allows you to change the interest rate, does automatic payment calculations for you in number of years. And then the last input is just a raw dollar input. And I just noticed that I need to add a $sign in there and a $sign in there. But I'll get that out before I send it to people. But if you're going to do routine maintenance, that's a number I put in there, whether it's going to be, air filters on a monthly basis. If you can have it pressure washed once a year. So say it costs you $150 to get pressure washed, then I'm going to add, $15 a month to this particular number. And then again, down here, all free form. So say I got a car payment, I got a $400 payment on one, and I actually finance my golf car, and maybe say that's $200 a month, and my total insurance bill on a monthly basis, all these things are monthly except for one number over here, and I'll show you that. So say my monthly insurance is, let's say that's 200, actually, let's say that's $150 a month, okay? What you'll notice is that this is now my transportation total, and that number's down here, and you see this overall total went up, but again, my housing totals over here specifically have not changed at all. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna cancel these out. We're gonna go delete, 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 and you'll see, again, these numbers equal one another, and I can do that for all of these. Now let's get over to the added functionality over here on the right. And again, I tried to be as accurate as possible in numbers. Some of them I can't even, some of them I have to make a huge estimate, especially in the bond. And I'm gonna, especially on the bond down here, and I'm gonna explain how to use this here in a second. And then I allow you to overwrite. So as an example, say I did pick, I'm going to rent, and I estimated that you're getting a designer veranda at $3,100, but you happen to know that your rent is going to be $3,200. Okay, so I allow you to put that there, and then I am going to click there. And you'll notice that $3,200 goes over and is inputted there. Now, what if I want to get back to the default value that I have in these calculations or these lookup values? All I do is click there and it goes back to that $3,100. And that's on any of these, like say sewer, water. Say you want to, you water your lawn unbelievably a lot because you want the most lush green lawn in the villages. And so I'm going to put $120 on average a month there, and I click there. And you'll see that changes to 120. If I want to go back to the default value, I just click there. Okay, so if I click these, this is saying use this value right here or unclick it. So it allowed me to keep the default values in here, so you didn't really mess those up if you wanted to get back to them, so I did there. The last thing to kind of cover on this particular thing is that the bond is the most inaccurate number that I have on this particular thing. So we're going to go back to own, because if you rent, you don't pay taxes. The landlord or whoever owns the home will pay the taxes. Okay, so you'll notice that if I go rent, my taxes go to zero, my home loan goes to zero, but my rent is put there. If I put own, you'll notice that now goes to zero. I don't have a loan, so there's no value there, but now as a homeowner, I am paying those taxes. And again, the most inaccurate number here is the bond. It is a looked up value. I do have a separate video on how to look up your taxes and your bond amount, your bond payment, as well as what's left as a principal on your bond. So if you're using this tool and you live in the villages and you know what your bond payment is annually, I put it right here, enter annual CDD and bond only. So say you know that your bond is $1,600, or say your bond is $1,400 and your CDD is $500, then you know annually on your tax bill, and you look this up in your tax bill, that you're paying $1,900, and you, no, I'm gonna fix that. And I'm not redoing this video because I've only done this 6 times. I have a little error in here, but when you click on this, it will actually divide that number by 12 and add $124, which is going to be what you pay for fire, and that doesn't change regardless of where you are in the villages, and that's the same number for everybody. But once I send this out to you, I will fix that one little thing. And basically, I have it locked, and I would need to unlock it. Okay, so hate to end on an error, but this is the new tool. Now it's not just an educational tool. It's possibly a tool that you can just use ongoing, even if you live here in the villages and happen to know a lot of your numbers already, but a good way to keep track of your monthly expenses and for budgeting. So again, hopefully you found this informative. I do have other videos, especially the one to look up the bond. Again, if you would like a free copy of this, you can email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com, as well as my guide, Buying and Selling a Home in the Villages. I hope you found this informative, and I hope to be seeing you around the villages. Take care.